Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Alberta News and Views. For all of you out there that don't know, Alberta is going to host the world's next G7 meetings. Now, today, Jagmeet Singh said that he does not want Donald Trump to attend these meetings. He's saying he wants to use this opportunity to send Donald Trump a clear message from Canada and all its allies that he is not welcome, blah, 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 he's a dictator, blah, 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 all of these ridiculous buzzwords. I'm going to show you a big reason why Jagmeet Singh does not want Donald Trump to come to Alberta. Listen to this.
Can I shift our attention to Canada real quick?
Yes, please.
Last week, I spent some time with two government officials for Canada. I was asking them how realistic is it that Canada would be the 51st state?
Yeah.
And they told me there is a path. Alberta is first, and if they sign on, Saskatchewan would follow, and then you go west to British Columbia. There is a movement in Canada to join us. I want to get your thoughts on that and how that's proceeding right now.
So it's true. Thank you, Brian. It's true. A lot of people in Canada are liking becoming our beautiful, cherished 51st state. They'll have to pay much lower taxes. They'll have the ultimate security. You know, they don't pay very much for security right now because they rely on us.
There is a large American population in Canada, in Alberta already. A lot of people don't know that. Alberta is the economic powerhouse of Canada. If Alberta became the 51st state first, Saskatchewan would follow, Yukon would definitely follow quickly, and the greater half of British Columbia would follow as well. And not long after. The framework is there, and once the rest of Canada seeing that everything is okay, it's not scary becoming the part of the United States or the 51st state, they would join up as well. Because of the Constitution, because of the American dollar, because we can buy houses, because the federal government and the systemic corruption would instantly be gone. It just makes sense. And I got a bazillion articles with the top economists on the planet saying these very words, that it is ridiculous that Canada would even think that it would be bad not to join the United States economically, or become a statehood, something that would resemble like Puerto Rico, anything other than what we have right now. Because this is a huge opportunity that doesn't come around all the time. Donald Trump is a businessman. He wants to make deals. And this would be an opportunity for, especially Alberta, but for Canada to figure something out. Because every sane person in Canada knows right now that the direction that we are headed is bankruptcy, not a good one. And I'm going to show you a bunch of other stuff that has to do with that in a second. But first, here is Jagmeet Singh. I'm going to show you just how weaselly and slimy Jagmeet Singh is. Right when you think he can't sink any lower, he tweets out stuff like this. He sends out a post like this on X. Listen, Jagmeet Singh says, "What do you call a guy who threatens his allies with the use of military force? A fascist. Donald Trump has threatened Canada. He shouldn't be allowed to enter our country for the G7 summit." Calling him a fascist, Jagmeet Singh calling a terrorist, is calling the president of the United States a fascist. Now, how well do you think this is going to gloss over with Donald Trump in terms of slapping tariffs on us? Jagmeet Singh is irrelevant. Now, I can't even recall Donald Trump threatening Canada's allies with military force. I got to show you one reply first. You got to see this. This is from George Hampton. "What do you call a guy who holds an entire country hostage just so he can receive his pension? An asshole." That is a fact. Moving on. So did Googled say he was going to use military force to invade Canada? There is nothing in here. The only thing I could find is from the Toronto Red Star, the most liberal rag in Canada, that says Trump National Security Advisor says no plans to invade Canada anytime soon. Then I dug up this article here from NBC News. So Donald Trump, back in January, suggests he could use military force to acquire Panama Canal and Greenland, and economic force to annex Canada. And he's saying that off the cuff, and that's what he's doing right now anyway. He doesn't need to do anything. I've always said he's going to squeeze us economically, and then he's just going to sit back and watch because he knows, everybody knows how expensive it is to live in Canada. Our young Canadians cannot afford a home and barely afford to work in Canada. Seriously. Continuing on. Here is Jagmeet Singh saying that Donald Trump, blah, 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 G7 don't come. Just watch this.
I also believe we need to ban Donald Trump from attending the G7 summit. Donald Trump should not be welcome here. Why would we invite someone who has threatened our very democracy, our very sovereignty? Why would we invite someone who has threatened our economic well-being? Why would we invite someone who threatens our allies and threatens the world's stability? Why would we allow a convicted criminal into our country? Why would we invite someone who has such disdain for multilateral organizations? Instead, what we should do is use the G7 summit as an opportunity to work with our allies on a plan to resist Donald Trump and his dangerous threats to the world.
Donald Trump is not a dangerous threat to the world. The dangerous threat to the world, though, are all of these useless politicians forcing bullshit economic policy on its citizens, creating absolute turmoil. That is the problem. Donald Trump is just another world leader taking care of his own country, and everybody else doesn't like it because has a ripple effect. And that is what happens when you are the United States, the number one, number two economy on the planet. You will have hurt others, collateral damage in the wake of them making huge, huge decisions. Everybody, every world leader does this, and there is always somebody that loses in this game. Canada has been dragging its feet for at least 40 years. Jagmeet Singh is a typical NDPer. He is full of gaslighting and hypotheticals backed by zero facts. And they just say it over and over and over and over again. There is a big reason why he does not want Donald Trump to come to Alberta, because it will create a mega effect in Alberta. And once everybody gets to see him and know him a little bit better, the 51st state movement will definitely grow, especially if Mark Carney gets elected or calls an election or blah, 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 more liberal NDP crap comes to the surface in Canada and Canadian democracy and Canadian policy. We've had enough. Everybody has had enough. Continuing on and leaving that nonsense. UBI works. This is why Alberta and everybody saying in Canada wants to become the 51st state or have some sort of independence. Universal basic income. There's bills being introduced for UBI in Canada. They keep on trying to push more socialism on us. So the new Parliamentary Budget Officer report estimates a guaranteed basic income can reduce poverty by 40% nationwide at a net cost of just $3.6 billion a year and 1% impact on hours worked. Poverty costs Canada $80 billion a year. Canada is one of the countries that spends the most on poverty in Canada. Why? Because we import poverty. Canada imports poverty. It's ridiculous. We spend $80 billion. Maybe if we stop spending all of this money on people that do nothing, maybe they'll decide to do something. It's ridiculous. So this actually looks like a deal. $3.6 billion a year is a lot better than $80 billion a year. It's absolutely ridiculous. This will create a tidal wave of people fleeing to the United States from Canada if they don't become a 51st state or something anyway, because we already pay too much in taxes. De-incentivizing people to work never works. It just creates more poverty. if people know that they can just do stuff by cash at a side hustle, doing whatever, and just collect money by sitting on their ass, you're going to get a lot more people sitting on their ass. These are numbers just based off of today. Well, there is still a lot of work. It's unbelievable. Continuing on. So Pam Bondi just announced she'll be releasing Epstein names and flight logs tomorrow. Now, we've heard this yesterday and the day before, but now she says she is serious. She says it is sick what was going on. There are well over 200 victims. I'm not going to show you this clip because I want to keep this video short. Last but not least, I got to clear this up. From Kirk Lubimov. What the fuck is this UCP? WTF. Alberta government is working on an $11 billion deal to build Sharia law schools, mortgages, and mosques. I don't think Heather Anderson meant to say Sharia law schools, but we're trying to get clarity on it. We asked Nate Horner if this is true. So Heather says, huge clarification from a friend. $11 billion is for Sharia law mortgages for building Islamic schools and mosques. Alberta ATB Financial and Service Credit Union have been in private meetings with Nate Horner and Mickey Amory, to set up this scheme, thanks to MH Care, whatever. I reported on this before. They're not Sharia law mortgages. They're halal mortgages. Now, the big controversy is there no interest mortgages? But it's not what you think it is. All they do is they just tag the money on top of the mortgages. So halal mortgages are usually more than a low interest mortgage, because no matter what, the bank's not going to give out money interest free. So what they do is they just take the final, what you would pay in interest, and stack it on top of this. But I think that's what they're saying is if you don't say Sharia law, you just say halal mortgages for building Islamic schools. They're not building Sharia law schools, as far as I know. They're just using halal mortgages to build Islamic schools. But this is a big red flag for Albertans is, do you want Islam schools and mosques like this in Alberta? Historically, we all know what happens when you allow Islam to grow and thrive in society. It never ends well. All you have to do is open a history book and look at all of the Islamic State-run countries on Earth and how well that is working out for everybody. Look at the before and after. I will keep you updated with as much as I can when I can. Follow me on Substack, especially Substack, Spotify, and YouTube. Alberta needs independence. We know where this road goes. You can elect anybody you want. Seriously. Canada has systemic corruption. It is too deep. The only way is complete reform. Independence. Alberta becomes its own country, becomes some kind of economic powerhouse deal, union, I don't give a shit what it is with the United States, or just becomes the next 51st state. Guns, gas, and glory and free speech. Seriously, who doesn't want that? The alternative, Mark Carney and his green credit crap, that policy, more taxes to pay for people to do nothing? Seriously? Come on. Like, share, and take care.